What does an Australian federal election look like to a veteran foreign correspondent? After decades of world-class reporting from the UK, Asia, North America and Australia, former BBC correspondent Nick Bryant takes a look behind the scenes at both the Morrison and Albanese campaigns.
Good morning, Prime Minister. Back in Parramatta. Welcome to see you. Okay, let's go.
The federal election 2022, where the high-visibility fluorescent jacket has become a daily symbol of what's widely seen as a dismal campaign.
Here we go.
The determination of both leaders to appeal to the Australian everyman even extends to dressing like him as well.
A mate of mine was Trevor Davis.
From the outside, it looks less like a travelling circus and more like a transcontinental costume party. But what does it feel like, close up on the trail? Meet at the Four Seasons, they said. Words which, for a veteran of the Trump years, evoke memories not of a luxury hotel, but a landscape gardening business in Pennsylvania.
Hi, Angie. It's Eliza. How are you?
Then it was on to the Scott Morrison press bus, what some reporters have dubbed the Pork Barrel Express, for the journey out to the western suburbs of Sydney, the first electoral battleground of the day.
We're almost there. I think it's actually in a park near the mosque.
You don't need a sat-nav to find your way around an Australian election, just a working knowledge of the marginal seats. But the first stop of the day was actually a community event rather than a political photo opportunity. A celebration of the Muslim festival Eid on a sports oval in Parramatta. So no need for a high-vis jacket here. Instead, Scott Morrison could benefit from an advantage of incumbency, the chance to appear prime ministerial and to enjoy a moment that briefly transcended politics. This Pentecostal Christian is trying to pull off Miracle 2.0, and his rhetoric sometimes has an evangelical feel. Here, he saw a parable in the pandemic.
Breaking this fast is, I suppose, a little like what the country is now going through. After 2 years of incredibly difficult times as we've come through the pandemic, as we go into this new period with hope, restored by our faith, restored by our community. And I want to thank all the community members here.
This was a politically ecumenical event, attended as well by the former Prime Minister Kevin Rudd. His presence a reminder of this coup culture phase of Australian politics, where reporting on camera felt more like triage, a sifting of the wounded and the slain. Scott Morrison has demonstrated his durability, the first Prime Minister since John Howard to serve out a full parliamentary term. Kevin 07 feels like a different political world.
It's Kevin 22.
I'm not sure, mate.
Once the seatbelt sign has been switched off, you'll be free to move about the cabin.
There's a magical mystery tour aspect to life on the trail, because you're not told beforehand where you're going to end up. Even in the air, it was destination unknown. But one thing's for sure, Australian suburbia will feature on the itinerary. So too the country's retirement belt. This was a seniors village in a suburb of Geelong. Scott Morrison's campaign style is reminiscent of an enthusiastic Christian camp leader, trying to make sure every activity is a success, trying to make sure his congregation is always happy.
Sometimes you get lucky.
Here he was promising that an extra 50,000 older Australians will have access to the Commonwealth Seniors Health Card if he wins re-election.
He is a very, very intelligent, good man.
Then comes his daily communion with the media. This press conference revealed one of the defining characteristics of the campaign: the negative partisanship, where politicians say why you shouldn't vote for their opponents, rather than emphasising why you should vote for them.
Labor still do not have an economic plan. Now, if you don't have an economic plan, Everything else you talk about is just making stuff up. G'day.
Prime Minister, welcome.
His final campaign stop of the day felt more like a tourism ad.
That is magnificent, isn't it?
It is a beautiful coastline. We're very fortunate.
Surfers in the twilight waves. Australian central casting.
It's about 16. 15. Goodness.
One of Scott Morrison's great political skills is that he understands the performative requirements of the modern media age. The need to serve up a quote of the day and to illustrate it with pictures. But some would regard that as a weakness as well. The soundbites sometimes sound prefabricated. The photo opportunities seem contrived.
It all begs the question, is he a better campaigner than Prime Minister?
Hey, kids. How are you going?
While the Liberals serve up an all-you-can-eat buffet for the television cameras, the Labour campaign is more like a starvation diet. This appearance at a food bank in his home suburb of Marrickville, Anthony Albanese's sole photo op ahead of the evening news.
Anthony Albanese's central promise is no one left behind. That's a message that resonates here with those who believe they're serving the forgotten people of the pandemic recovery.
Maybe his minders are trying to shield him from the media. Maybe it's the lingering effects of having COVID. But Albanese has not been as energetic a campaigner as his rival. Even before he came down with COVID, this slimline leader had decided to fight a small target campaign, which may explain why the gaffes and gotcha moments have sometimes loomed larger than they should have.
Is asking a question about your own policy.
Hang on. Order. You get the question, then I'll have the answer.
And is asking a question about one of your own policies that you announced really a gotcha question?
No. Well, let me tell you about what the NDIS is about. It is about we have a signature policy, which is what I said yesterday. A signature policy to put people at the centre of the NDIS.
Did you make the mistake by not knowing the answer?
And one of the ways that we will do. What it's about is providing...
Is a question on your own policy really a gotcha question, Mr Albanese?
You had your opportunity. And you're not answering the question. You had your opportunity, and now it's my turn to answer. So just wait.
You have not answered the question.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you.
To some, this is tough and legitimate media scrutiny. To others, a tedious game of Trivial Pursuit. Voters will make up their own minds.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your work.
I think the public actually wants to hear what Anthony Albanese has got to say, but with the repetition of that, I mean, God, what are they thinking? I'm sure that's not why they went into journalism.
The day ended with a burst of energy from the Indian classical dancers at this Hindu community dinner.
Friends, I have a great love for India.
There are times when Anthony Albanese has seemed to exhibit stage fright during this campaign, viewing the act of electioneering as an examination to endure rather than an experience to enjoy.
The cliché is also a truism. The governments tend to lose elections rather than oppositions winning them. But Anthony Albanese faces the same question at the end of this campaign as he confronted at the start. Has he passed the prime ministerial plausibility test?
Big problems are crowding in on Canberra. Economic instability, an increasingly assertive China, climate change. But this has not been a big ideas campaign. Aside from those high visibility jackets, there's been a noticeable lack of fluorescence.